This is the prolific teaching ministry of Apostle Tolu, the lead pastor of His Worship Christian Network. Brace yourself for an experience of enlightenment, education, and transformation as you engage with this episode.
1 Corinthians 3 and the 9th verse. This is Paul speaking under the influence of the Spirit. And in 2025, you need to add under the influence of the Spirit, because Paul has been apportioned emotional states. The Bible says, for we are laborers together with God. For we are laborers together with God. There is something that God is doing. And by designation, men have been summoned to partner with him in that labor. We are. The apostle of the apostles says we are. And so to give you that appellation, laborer, does not demean you in any way. Are you with me? Yes. We are laborers together with God. And then he looks at the ground of his labor and decides to build their operations along the lines of two vocations. So on the first side, he says, ye are God's husbandry. And you will need to understand what happens in the agricultural sphere. It means as laborers will be invited to plant, will be invited to weed, will be invited to water. Are you with me? Will be invited to sometimes build boundaries or fences around it. Just let your mind go into what they teach you in school in animal husbandry and crop production. It means that many of those operations will be built into your roles. And very early too, because that's how man started. It was a garden that was delivered to him to tend and to build. In Genesis chapter 2, it was that rain could not fall because there was not a man to till the ground. So it's still husbandry. Are you with me? But it's not only the agricultural person who is gifted understanding of the operations that define this co-laboring enterprise. On the other side, he says, ye are what? God's building. It means that you also need to journey into the construction sphere to find out what are the things that they do there. It's a block house or it's a stone house. Whatever kind of house it is, most times what is delivered is raw materials. I think I was at ODS. Yes, I was at ODS. And one of the speakers was speaking about construction, and I was saying that, do you know it doesn't take long to build a house? Because where I used to work in Ibadan, if you have paid 75%, we deliver your house in 5 days, from foundation to roof in 5 days. All of the buildings are fully casted. So he now said it's going to be expensive. I said no, we did the costing. Immediate and long-term costs. The concrete houses are better. The only problem we had after a while, of course, Tolu Animi is looking at me that, what's this young man saying? We only learned later that the areas that advertise utility functions, we make them with slim blocks so that in case you need to break the wall. But he does not understand swamp. All these things that Tanko will put clothes in his cupboard, and after a while, even his wedding suit will have been eaten up by the wall. It won't happen. I want to invite you, because we don't have all the time, to look at those two sectors carefully, because they will give off the knowledge of your calling. One of the basic things that these two spheres of enterprise advertise is that the product does not happen with suddenness. Whether it is husbandry or in building works, you will have to lay it line upon line, precept upon precept. You will have to do certain things and then stand away and let nature act upon it, and then you know what next to do. It's not a hurried work. Meanwhile, there is an urgency about what God is doing, and I'm speaking to us as ministers, But it's not a work in haste. My pastor is here. I think I shared that on Sunday. He's an evangelist by excellence. He has his soul, his heart burns only in 3 directions. I know he's selfless, so you are not one. One is Jesus, right? 2 is Ife, that's his wife. 3 is souls. I don't know the order. What's the order? Is it? Did I get it right? Jesus, Ife, then souls. Souls before Ife. She's hearing you. Those are the 3 directions. So they went for a meeting and they came back and then they said to me, oh, we want souls. How many? About 40. And when I saw the report, I was excited. But when I looked into the church, church at large, my heart became afraid. So I asked him, what did you preach to them that 40 of them gave their lives to Christ the first time you visited? I think you said something around the love of the Father or so. And I said, see, there is what is called the doctrine of salvation. Don't be in a haste to make them confess. Once they have confessed once, if it was a sham, it will be difficult to take them down that road again. Paul's instruction to Timothy was, do the work of an evangelist. Even Paul knows that it is labor. Help them know or arrive at their sense of depravity. Bring to them the consciousness that even though they are tired, they are helpless because of the real shape of things. Advertise to them God's benevolence on the cross and make them understand it's not about to bully them to confess the Lordship of Jesus. They have a choice, but their choice will come with consequences. In case they are not convinced, do it again and again and again and again and again. Don't be in a haste to compile a list and say 40. And when we come down 40 days, we find out that none of them survived 40 days. Work. However, you see, and that's what will take me further. In this co-laboring thing, a man must understand his place. It's partnership, but you are not the principal partner. So it means that the patterns, the shape of assignments is not part of your calling. You will receive them. Anytime you take his place and you begin to run on your own terms, not just for intent but also for purpose, the kingdom will not win. You may win. You may end up with a very, very robust empire, and it's not bad for here. You will make a name. You will have largeness. You will have great friends. They say that a man's true net worth is his network. Jesus breaks a lot of definitions. What was Jesus' network like? A doubter, a betrayer, a master of denial, an idle man. That's Bartholomew, right? An idle man, an inaccurate witness. That's Philip. Because he said, we have seen Jesus, the son of Joseph. Even the person that he went to talk to was more informed than him. Nathanael met him and said, that's Bartholomew, met him and said, oh, son of David. That was more accurate. Son of God, king of Israel. But he said son of Joseph. So that was an inaccurate witness. And then you had the 2 sons of thunder. That was his network. But was that equal to his net worth? I've not been to India before, but I heard that Thomas ministered there. And that his fingers are still seen in some of their relics. Peter After his tears, recovery, and then became a gate opener. If we arrive and forget how we came, and that's why I'm going that way, it's not a labor to castigate them. If we arrive and we forget where he called us from, how we came, the processes we went through, we will think that we have earned our place as senior partners in this partnership. He is the principal partner. We are only appendages in the partnership. He is constant. We are changeable. Are you with me? Laborers together with God.